interesting to say the least. Reason why is because most of the times when I'm working with guys, it's all like real structured, literally, and it's very, very literal. So something like this is like something I've never done before, so I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank y'all for having me. I definitely want y'all to thank Nick, because without him, I would have quit. So just give him a round of applause real quick. But all right, just to go through some do's and don'ts. Things about this structure is everything is equal and opposite reaction. You know, that's basic physics. So when I touch here and push here, the forces over there are increasing and decreasing in a certain pattern. All right. So what's going to happen is as you're moving on this, you're going to have to think everything has to be balanced and everything has to be controlled, or you will break it. All right. Not going to be easily done, but you can do it. What I was showing Nick earlier, my biggest concerns is this. When you get in this, soloing it, all right, putting more people on it might help it out a little bit. But when you're in here and you grab right now, I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, but I can counter it if you want.
All right. If you grab right here, I'm 205 pounds almost, all right, so I'm a big dude. All right, I pull here, it is putting around 1,400 pounds of force on this little joint right here. Alright, so that's a lot of force, and it is metal, but it's aluminum at the same time, so it's going to be a little weaker than you're used to. You're used to probably working on something like steel, or maybe even something as crude as iron. So when you're working on this, you've got to think, okay, you can hang on one pipe and one member by itself, but you're really going to want to put two hands on two things to try and equal yourself out. All right. Also, my other big concern, probably Nick will voice this as well, is moving on it on the outside. All right. This thing is easy to move. Like, I'm not pushing barely at all. All right. So when you're on this, if you like we were doing earlier, it has to be equal and balanced out. All right. When you're on it, let me take a step back here. In engineering, one of the big things we learn about is tension and compression in members. All right, that's all basic structure work is. It's tension and compression, meaning that at one point, say if I was hanging on it, I'm putting tension in the middle, which is causing compression on the other side. All right. So as you're hanging on this structure, you're gonna have, say if I'm pulling on this, it's going to be pushing on the members over there. So everywhere you put force to it, it's going to cause another reaction. So you got to be careful. And that's when the really weak members are here, the nuts. All right, because because of the way it's structured, there's two plates sandwiching a small little tab in the middle. And what happens is if you put too much force on it, it's just going to snap it. All right, and you wouldn't think that's too easy, but it can be done really easily. So these nuts are really, really crucial you take care of them. Don't strip them. Every day before practice, you got to have 2 or 3 people in here. Make sure hand tighten them. You don't want to over torque it and snap a nut. All right. So every day before class, 2 or 3 y'all have to come in here and work from the ground up. Nick was saying, we work in layers. You start at the bottom layer, and you follow this little zigzag, and you tighten each one up, and then you tighten this little pattern up, and this one around the top and at the top. All right, reason why is because as you tighten along, you tighten over here, it can cause that plate over there to loosen up. All right, so every time you do it, you make sure and you go through and you do your checks. All right, so you got to be careful. This is y'all's structure. You want to take care of it. You're going to want to do the proper maintenance. And as far as also to keep this nice little shine, I got to give a shout out to my girl Erica and John Michael, and who else helped?
Rachel's not in this.
Rachel? Yeah, right. Rachel came. We grinded these surfaces for hours. I was literally doing it for about 6 to 8 hours by myself alone, and then they came and helped for several hours as well. These surfaces will not stay like this with all your hands grabbing on it and body parts sweating on it. You got to wipe them down after practices. So me and Nick are actually still in the talks about putting a protective coating over it to keep it that shiny way. So, but it's a little rough, so it'll give you a nice little grip to it.
What would the coating be?
This stuff, there's a couple different ways you can do it. There's one that I prefer in particular called shark fin, so that's a cool little name. but it's basically like, it's almost, it makes it waterproof almost. So you'll be able to like rub on it, grab on it, all your oils and sweat will basically won't affect it.
That is.
Yeah, they have
That is
hydrophobic
awesome.
chemicals, like if you ever
Especially
Neverwet.
Second?
Yeah, they have hydrophobic sprays,
Not necessarily.
like Neverwet is a company that does it, you can get it at like Home Depot or something.
Well, we can have this conversation.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Uh,
it's an idea that we bounce off each other that we feel as if it needs to be done to help
What's
help maintain
important
it.
to us is that we continue to have some friction, you know, so that
performance-wise,
so that
how-
it gives us a grip, so that we're not gonna slip so easily. That's the important part, as well as not tarnishing it over time.
Because even though it is metal, you will start if itself, like if you're rubbing other hard surfaces against it, it won't get tore up. Like you can see already, like from people coming in and just using the wrenches to tighten up all the bolts, you see it's already starting to strip and starting to rip some of the metal from the inside of the plates open. So, like I said, before class starts, you got to make sure everything's tight, otherwise you're gonna have to start developing problems. It doesn't have too much give. You know, most of y'all were there on Monday when we put it all together and it had a lot of give to it. Now it's pretty solid, pretty tight, but you gotta make sure, it's all tight all the way around. So that's the majority of the do's and don'ts I had.
The other aspect I wanted to talk about was our general rules about working in this room. Because, for
Yeah,
instance,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no way we're gonna quickly and easily replace these mirrors if they're broken. And it's gonna be really super easy to break them if we get out of control with this thing.
Yeah.
And the same goes for our walls and all the other stuff that's in this room. We've got to be, you know, always respectful of the space that we're in.
One of the things is, an engineer, we have a few little sayings here and there, and we always have the three-legged stool, which is where you can have things done fast and easy, or you can have them well done. You know, you can do them fast and easy, or you can have them cheap and easy, or, cheap and fast, or you can have them high quality, and cheap type of deal. It's like you can only have two of the three, which I'm trying to get at. Here, for this structure, I recommend, and I think Nick would probably agree, is that you have to have at least 3 people on it with you at all times. So you can't just like solo it as you feel the need. Also, to y'all's disappointment, you can't just walk in here at any time you feel like, because it's gonna be locked up. So,
That's a good idea.
yeah, so, and you know,
And that's a really good point on his part, and it is new to all of us, so just so that we're treating this in a real professional way, you know. We want to establish some rules fairly soon about protocol on working on this for class, because I'm not going to say, at some point, I'm not going to say no, that you can't work on it, say, at physical theater club time, but we'll have to be very clear about the do's and don'ts, and you have to follow them. And this is one very clear one, 3 people on it at any one time, no one coming in and soloing on their own. We don't even do that with aerial silk. You know, we always say, if you want to practice aerial, 2 people minimum, right? 1 person watching in case anything goes wrong. In this case, we need 3, minimum.
because this, like I showed you just a second ago, this thing will roll really easily and get out of control really fast. With, and what Nick was saying earlier, the work that was put into it, I mean, I personally put in a whole lot of work to making it just the design work. The guys at Custom Metals put in a lot of hours, like I worked it out with them, and they gave me a rough, you know, I was working out numbers and stuff like that, and they gave me a rough estimate of how much this would actually cost to make. You're looking at, for the materials alone, about close to $400. Then on top of that, for the labor, machining, all the welding, and even the grinding. We did the grinding, so that was for free, but even if we included the grinding, this structure would cost about $4,500 to make, even closer to $5,000. So, and they gave a lot of it.
Are you including the laser cutting?
Yeah, and that's including the laser cutting. The laser cutting was several thousand, that was roughly $1,300 by itself. So this would probably cost you about $5,000 to make, and we got it for free pretty much. So, we gave some money that we could afford to the
Pay for the materials, and we're gonna give some money of our grant if we can,
Yeah.
as a gift. That's still pending.
Yeah. So
But
the
they
guys.
deserve it. I mean, they did a wonderful job, you know, and spent a lot of their own time on this for, just because they love you.
Yeah.
love
They were,
us.
they were really excited, like, all the guys were really excited to see it and see, like, they were really glad to see y'all come out and really, like, show, like, see the place where they were, and they were excited to see y'all working on it, so, I think one thing that we should also do for them, Nick, is get them tickets to a performance. Like, heard me? Get them tickets to a performance like the father.
Yes, absolutely, yeah, I'm gonna make sure that they are aware of everything.
Biggest thing about it is work hard, but be safe, seriously. Like, you can get really hurt really easily on this. You fall, you're not crashing onto mats here. You're gonna smash your head into a metal bar, and that'll straight crack your skull type of deal.
Are there any type of weight limits for it?
There,
There
I
you
would,
what?
Weight
there,
limits?
Wait,
the testing that I was able to do, you're gonna wanna limit, like, how big are you?
185, 190.
You're all right. There's nobody bigger in here than I am or Nicholas, and we can each hang from a bar and be okay. But if you have 3 people hanging on it, each, like you saw the 3 guys earlier, that's each about 160, 170. So you're looking close to 420 pounds-ish, 400 something pounds. Yeah, 420, 480.
talk about the forces that
Yeah.
you're distributing throughout.
Yeah, like the four, yeah, like it's gonna exponentially increase. Like when you have like the 3 guys each on a side, that's putting, like, if everybody was resting on this bar alone, you're dividing their weight between these 2 members, which is transferring it down here. So these are gonna be really strong, but these 2 right here are gonna be your weak points. All right, so you gotta be really careful. Like, don't. It's gonna be a lot of slow and controlled, a lot of muscle control here.
No real swing momentum moves at this point, until we really become comfortable with this thing. You see, this has never been tested.
Yeah,
This has never been used by humans.
it's never been done either.
It's never
So,
been done.
y'all are the first to ever have or work on a structure like this.
The other thing you should be aware of is these holes in the middle, we're probably gonna put bolts in these as well to stiffen up and make it even stronger. You were telling me that originally these plates would completely come together, but that made the tabs too loose. Then he,
After a redesign, they're
Right.
just like the way it's set up. Like the reason why I'm stressing the bolts so much is because these plates are not touching. They're not together at all. Like it's literally as if sandwiching the tab in between them. You can look on it, even with the bolts as tight as they are, there's a gap right there. So in this, there's a little airspace. So you gotta be, whoever comes in before, you gotta really check every bolt. Because even as you tighten up in that pattern we were talking about, you're gonna have to go and work back from the top back up, from the bottom back up to the top again. Because as you tighten along, you have bolts that come down loose down here. So it's not like I'm saying do it just to keep the structure together. No, it's like you do it to protect your other classmates.